Welcome everyone and welcome to our Move Packages and Customers to 2GP with Package Migrations. This is our recap session post Trailblazer DX. Please bear in mind that you should be making your decisions based on features that are currently available. My name is John Bella. I'm the product manager for Package Migrations, and I'm joined by James Quinn, our platform expert for everything related with packaging. Second generation packaging is made to help you innovate at speed, and you are viewing this session because you want to really leverage all the benefits that 2GP has to offer. Source-driven development, you can interact with packaging in a fully automated way from the API, from the CLI, and very importantly, you can actually have multiple packages sharing the same namespace. In addition, you have a flexible versioning model with a new ancestry model that we created for 2GP. It's very easy to declare dependencies. And it's also super simple for you to patch your customers. But unfortunately, while there are many benefits to 2GP today, the path to get there, if you are a developer of an existing 1GP managed package, is actually pretty difficult. It would actually imply you creating a clone of your existing 1GP package and then starting to interact with every single one of your customers, asking them to remove their data and their customizations from their org, and then asking them to uninstall your 1GP, install their cloned 2GP package instead, and then finally restore all of their data and all of their customizations on top of that newly installed package. For most of you, this is pretty much a non-starter, quite an expensive process, and we want to truly change this into something that is seamless. So we are proposing an easy path whereby there will be an automated conversion of your existing 1GP package into a new second generation managed package. And then you will be able to go and migrate all of your subscribers without requiring any intervention from their side in a fully transparent way, and importantly, without impacting their subscriber data or metadata. So there are two key concepts that I want to introduce you guys today. The first is the package conversion process. This simply takes a 1GP package or an existing 1GP package version, and through the CLI commands SF package convert, it will generate the corresponding 2GP package version. And once that package exists, what you can do is to essentially initiate a migration request, which is reasonably similar to an installation request, with the difference that it actually does not change any of your customers' metadata or data. And this can be initiated in future through things such as push upgrades, through the CLI, through SF package installer, or even through the URL, which I'll demo later. And your subscriber will be automatically migrated over to the world of 2GP, and subsequently they can start to get upgrades that were created using 2GP in the future. Again, nothing gets impacted, all without requiring any sort of subscriber intervention. Essentially, there's three easy steps to get to the world of 2GP. Step one, you're still in 1GP, your package is in 1GP, all of your subscribers are in 1GP. By participating in our current developer preview, and as you start to adopt the package migrations capability as it gets generally available, you'll start to move into step two. So step two basically allows you to take your existing 1GP package and through the convert command, create your 2GP package, which will allow you to start migrating your subscribers. And whenever you're ready to actually start to fully adopt 2GP in your development model, meaning actually developing your package using the 2GP tools that we have available for you today, you can then select to actually move the development of the package fully to 2GP and continue to support your subscribers and continue to even migrate any lagging subscribers going forward. And with that, let me show you a quick demo of how things are working today in the world of package migration. So I'll show you three concepts here. I'll start by showing you our packaging org, where we have the migrations demo package installed, which I'll use throughout the demo today. I'll then show you the DevOps org, where I've configured our namespace that I've associated with the migrations demo package. And I'll use the CLI to actually create a converted package version based on my existing 1GP package version. And finally, I'll go ahead and actually take that converted package, install it into a subscriber, and simulate that migration and showcase what the end result actually looks like. So if I go to my packaging org, you'll see that I have a whole bunch of versions installed there or created there. And all of them have my namespace, John Bello 2. And with this, I can start my conversion process. So going back to my DevHub, I will need to ensure that my namespace, John Bello 2, is associated in this particular DevHub org in the namespace registry as part of that namespace prefix you see there. Once I do this, I can move on to the CLI and I can start the process of actually converting my package. So I'll take the package ID that I've obtained from my packaging org. I'll define a particular installation key, which is demo in this case, and then the process begins. This is somewhat accelerated, so you don't need to actually wait for the few stages that the package conversion process goes through. And the end result is that it will provide me a package version installation URL. As you'll see there, so it moves from initializing. There are a few more steps in between, but we are going to skip into finalizing package version. And here is my URL in a second that I'll then be able to use as part of my package migration process. I can also learn a little bit more using existing CLI commands about the packages that are available in my CLI environment. I can see the packages that I've worked with, and the last one there is migrations demo package that I'm showing you today. Importantly, on the right, you'll see the converted from package ID column, which means that that package was created from an originally 1GP package, and I have the IDs for both of them. I can also see the package versions that I've created, and you'll see there version 1.16, which is the latest version I've converted, and that's one I'm actually able to start using as part of my migration test. So I'll go to my subscriber org, where I already have installed the existing 1GP version of that migrations demo package, and we will see how that looks. So here's my installed packages URL with version 1.16. This is a 1GP package, and I want to go and change the URL there to start the process of installing my migrations demo 2GP converted package. But before I do that, I want to look into this particular org and check what's actually happening in this subscriber. You'll see that there are a few audit fields, like created by and last modified by, in this particular custom object that comes with the managed package. And this is actual data that is related with the subscriber. Subscriber also has some data around the API call logs that you see there. You can click on that one and see, again, some details around existing data, plus some audit fields. And all of these should remain unchanged after the migration has taken place, because I want to demonstrate that nothing really happens when the migration actually takes place. I use the URL that was provided through an output of the CLI command, and the migration process begins. I will enter my installation key, which is demo, as we saw earlier. And importantly, you'll see that there's a new UI to actually tell me that what's going to happen is a migration of this particular package. That originally I had version 1.16, and I'm migrating to version 1.16 beta 1. Why beta? Because currently package migration is in developer preview, and we do not allow the creation of managed release versions of those converted to GP packages. Of course, when we go GA, this will no longer be the case, and you'll actually be able to migrate into managed release to GP packages as well. So we'll go ahead, we'll accept that that security check there on the bottom, and we will click the migration button to start the process. So we'll go here, click migrate, and the migration begins. Migration is a very quick process. Again, it doesn't change actually anything other than some pointers in our backend to point to the newly created or newly converted second generation managed package. And this is actual migration that you see here, the actual real life timelines, and the process completes. I click done. And then I can go back to my install packages screen. I'll see that version is now 1.16 beta 1, meaning this is now my converted second generation managed package. And I'll just do a quick sanity check on some of these custom objects to make sure that nothing has changed. If I refresh my screen, you'll see that the audit fields are exactly the same. Nothing has changed at all in terms of the data in this particular org. Same for this particular REST API object or record. And you'll see again, nothing has changed. So that's pretty much it for the demo. We saw the packaging org with my migrations demo package with a whole bunch of versions there, namespace John Bello 2, and then we went to the CLI. But first, touching on the demo board to make sure that our namespace registry was set correctly, and then CLI to actually convert my package into a 2GP. And finally, we went and did the migration in our subscriber org, and we verified that nothing really has changed in that particular environment. And with that, let me just continue my demo here. Switching to package migrations developer preview, which is something I'd like you guys all to participate in. So there is a very easy way to actually join our developer preview. Just use the partner community, go into our partner community group. There's going to be a link available in our slides, or just use that QR code to get the link directly there. Through that shadow group in the partner community, we will get you regular updates on what's happening in the package migrations world. From time to time, we will organize office hours or share videos such as this one. And you'll also be able to find links to package migration documentation, forms to actually activate your org to be able to participate in the developer preview, and finally forms to also report any issues you might face to help us make sure that package migrations is as robust as it can be before we make it generally available. In terms of our roadmap, so we are currently in the process of actually getting to summer 24 right now with Salesforce. In spring 24, we introduced the ability for migrations to take place in sandboxes and developer orgs. We improved the UI for the manual migration, which you just saw earlier. And we started improving the experience for license management for migrated packages, which is a process that will continue into summer and into winter 25. We added support for connected apps, and we continue adding some additional supportability improvements so that if there are any issues, we have the right tooling and logging to go there and fix it. In summer 24, we are hoping to start a very, very limited pilot, which would allow certain partners to actually test the migration of selected customers in production environments. And we'll continue investing in a number of areas around the LMA and FMA support for migrated packages, continuing to improve our tooling and logging around supportability, and also starting to work on additional support for global Apex that we did not support today. And finally, in winter 25, we are aiming to continue that pilot around helping some of our partners migrate selected customers and continue our investments around LMA, FMA, and support for global Apex. That should put us on track for potentially a spring 25 general availability. Here, we will also add some additional capabilities that we will work on at that point in time around actually enabling you to move fully into the world of 2GP and allowing you to actually migrate customers using the push upgrades or push migrations capability that we are also developing. And with that, I'd like to pass the ball over to James to continue this conversation discussing migration strategies. James, over to you.
All right, thank you, John. So now that John has shown us the mechanics of how converting and migrating from 1GP to 2GP works, the next step you might be thinking of is, how do I go through this end-to-end process in practice? And why should I start thinking about this now? Well, remember, as John mentioned earlier, there are 3 steps to the package migration process. So step 1, you're fully in 1GP. Step 2, you've started migrating some subscribers to 2GP. And in step 3, you're fully in 2GP. Well, steps 1 and 3 are really simple. Step 2 will depend. So our recommendation is to plan out the migration of all of your subscribers ahead of time so you can get through step 2 as quickly as possible. If you don't think ahead about this, step 2 can get hairy. You can end up in no man's land supporting double as many packages for a time until you can get to step 3. And you end up wasting cognitive load trying to remember which of my customers are on the 1GP flavor of my package and which are on the 2GP. It's a waste of mental horsepower that could go toward building great new features for your app. So let's plan it out in advance. So you might be thinking, I have many customers who are on many different versions of my package, or my app is multi-package with a complex tree of dependencies. So let's run through some practical scenarios. But first, a quick mental model. So per package, you convert once per relevant package version. And by relevant, I mean package versions that are installed in at least one subscriber production org. No need to convert packages that customers are not currently using. And you migrate once per subscriber org. So conversion is done at the per package version level, and migration is done at the per individual subscriber org level. So on to the scenarios. Here we've got a one package solution, 1,000 subscriber orgs, each one on the same version of the package. And this is the Salesforce way of doing release management. So, you know, at time of recording, everybody is in spring 24. There's nobody lagging back on summer 16, for example. No one can refuse the upgrade. In this case, we only need to convert one version. We are doing 1,000 migrations, but that is scarier than it sounds because this can be done with one single push upgrade, making your life easy. And push upgrade here, just to be clear, is just the mechanism that we use to do mass package migrations. But to be clear, it is not an upgrade or a metadata change. It does not change any functionality in the subscriber org. So the next scenario is a multi-package solution of 5 packages. Still, you've got 1,000 subscriber orgs, and all of them are on the same version of each of the 5 packages. So this time we'd convert 5 versions, one per package. We're doing 5,000 migrations, but we can do that in 5 push upgrades. So not bad, still very manageable. Now, this is the scenario where I just look at it and my brain starts to hurt. So you can see that the complexity can explode when we allow subscribers to be on a lot of different versions. So in this scenario, we still have the 5 packages and 1,000 subscriber orgs. But going into this, we've allowed our subscribers to be spread across 10 different versions of each of the 5 packages. So here we need to run the convert command 50 times, once per package version. Painful. Now, the number of migrations we still have to do actually hasn't changed. It's still 5,000, but now it would take 50 push upgrades instead of 5 to fully migrate all 5 packages. So this scenario required 10 times as much work as the previous to get the same number of package installs migrated. And really, it's more than 10 times harder to manage because it has a multiplier effect of the cognitive load required to keep track of all these package versions. Please don't do this. So the key takeaways, don't create any more 1GPs. This is creating technical debt at this point. If you need to create a new package, make it a 2GP, and you won't even have to think about migration for that package. Use push upgrades to fully migrate to 2GP faster and easier. A package migration is not a true upgrade because it does not change any of the metadata or data in subscriber orgs. It just changes the pointer, like John said, from the 1GP to the 2GP flavor of your package, and that is it. And finally, get customers onto the latest version of your package if at all possible. This drastically simplifies the work you need to migrate to a 2GP. And this is something you can start on now. Now, for those of you with multi-package 1GP solutions where the packages have dependencies on one another, let's understand the mental model for sequencing the migration of your packages. And now there's one crucial limitation to understand, which ends up making the strategy pretty clear-cut in the end. A first-generation package cannot depend on a second-generation package. So to be clear, a 1GP can depend on a 1GP, 2GP can depend on a 2GP, 2GP can depend on a 1GP, but a 1GP cannot depend on a 2GP. So how does this affect our migration sequence? Well, let's introduce some terms and look at an example 3-level hierarchy. A base package is the foundational package that extension packages depend on. An extension package depends on the base package and may have packages that depend on it, as it does in this example. And a leaf package is a package that has no packages that depend on it. With these concepts in mind, along with the fact that 1 GPs cannot depend on 2 GPs, the best strategy is to migrate your leaf packages first and work inward from there. So if we start with migrating the leaf package here, we have a 2 GP depending on a 1 GP, which is supported. As we work inward, next migrating the extension package, this pattern continues. And lastly, we finish by migrating the base package. This is the drama-free sequence to migrate your packages. Notice that if we had migrated the packages in any other order, we would have ended up with the unsupported scenario, a 1 GP depending on a 2 GP. So leaf packages are the key to getting started with your migration sequence. Now, if you absolutely cannot follow this sequencing advice, let's talk about your situation. You can book time with me by opening a case to have a platform expert consultation. But just know that any other sequence will be significantly more difficult. With that, we'd like to thank you so much for joining our session.